Hey,
Hey Amir, how's it going?
not bad. And you?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Get caught up. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Do you think do you think that we should spend some time, dedicated time to basically coming to a consensus on, I think the tax too about who is the consumer of the set, what is the purpose of the set. So I just recopied and pasted the what we came up with.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for us to have like a somewhat of a definition of what we're trying to accomplish. Which what you wrote is good. Like we, when we're making it, we should say this is what it is. We should be able to describe what it is. But as far as like what it's for, I don't think we can just come up with that on our own. We need to go to the other groups and ask them. Hey
Okay.
David, how's it going?
Uh, Things are going really well because, as you can see, it's a beautiful day in Virginia.
Great,
All
great.
right.
So, very, very soon it's going to be roasting hot, and I will be back inside. But I'll take advantage of what I can get in the weather. All right, 12 of. I have four after. Are we expecting more?
We've been getting more, but except for the one, I think 2 weeks ago is like right after Open Source Summit.
Hmm.
We didn't get as many people, and our APAC ones have been a little lower, but this time has been better. So we'll see.
Okay. All right, I am going looking through. Oh, and somebody already added my name. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, let's discuss that in your I typed that in as the first thing. What is the list for? Or who are the users?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been putting this. Um, oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. David is thinking of specific like groups. I think that's great. I was also. Oh, okay. Um, I was also considering like when we were talking about like essentially having some language on, what this is and who it's for. So, but this is going to help us a lot because that can help us kind
Whoa.
of walk backwards. Sorry.
You just lost what we were typing. Oh, okay, never mind. No, it's way up higher. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry. That's all right. It just moved down and it appeared on my screen like everything I had been doing it was erased, and that wasn't true. So
Sorry
no
about
problems,
that,
no
David.
problems. It's just I was misinterpreting what my screen was showing. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just put this. I don't know if it's too circular, but the purpose of the set of critical projects curated by the Securing Critical Projects Working Group is to help guide the open source community in determining highly important open source projects that have been identified through research and discussion with the work group. These include, but are not limited to, open source projects that can benefit from additional resources, projects that are generally lacking in resources, projects that can especially benefit from third-party code reviews and audits, and projects that are widely used and adopted in modern technology and infrastructure systems.
Yeah, what's the tech German tech fund, and there's another American one.
Yes, good point. Sovereign Tech Fund,
Sovereign Tech Fund. Thank you.
Open Tech Fund.
Yeah, which one's the Yeah, that's on. Well, okay, I guess I'm sorry. They're in Germany, but you're right. It's actually EU. That's fine.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Okay,
it is
okay.
German government. It is German government. Okay, it is. That's right. That one's I think is the German government. I think there was another one that was EU, but I'm not sure that's active.
Yes, that's not active.
Okay. All right. Actually, it uses the projects as candidates for both Alpha and Omega.
Okay.
Because even if they can't fund it, it still can be on their list of projects they look more closely at. Their top 10,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, OSTIF. Okay, I guess. I mean, technically, OSTIF isn't a funding source. Well.
That's true. Yeah, but it
Oh,
helps us like.
okay. All right. Okay. I would put you in a different category, but
Okay.
because you're not funding the work, but you are.
I guess like implementation or.
I mean, if somebody paid you to fix an open source project that only if hey, it's only used in nuclear facilities, I'm sure that you would say absolutely, even if it's not on the list.
Yeah. Fair. But I just wondered if like as basically like a data point. So like,
Right.
if we want to justify, if someone gives us money to say, hey, go make open source more secure, we can say, we've used this as a resource to help guide us, identify those projects.
Okay, and this is a weirdness for me. I'm going to put the US later. And I'm going to do that in simply because we love our US friends, but I think some people have been misinformed that we're somehow only US. Yes, there's a lot of US folks. There's nothing wrong with US folks, but this is international, and so by putting a German government thing first, I think that'll help clarify
Okay.
that internet. This is something that's an international issue that we're working on international solutions for. Yeah, OSTIF. I mean, what would I bet that there's organizations who need. I mean, you're basically trying to guide other organizations, right?
I guess maybe I to keep that distinction of, we are the people that go and execute on that guidance. Maybe it would make sense to just not include us. But I just am wondering, like, for example, like when we got some funding to audit projects, like the impact report, the Google and OpenSSF impact report, we used like the Harvard Census 2 study and like our preliminary recommendations, our meaning OSTIS preliminary recommendations, which fed into the predecessor to this set, to determine which projects we would go ahead and audit. So that's why I wonder, I wonder where how that would fit in, but if it's not as direct, then maybe it doesn't make sense to include it. Whatever you all think makes more sense.
You know what? If we eliminate the how they're using it, because I think I'm not sure that there's a difference here. In all cases, they're trying to take some steps to improve some critical open source software, and the problem is that immediately gets you to and which ones are important.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And
And
then
I'm sure there's others. I mean,
sure.
So
Now, you know what? How about sos.dev? I'm going to put that in as another. I think MFA distributions and other organizations. Whoops, what happened? That's weird. I think I accidentally captured. Oh, now that's just weird. Thanks, Google Docs. All right. Okay. All right. So Alpha Omega and okay. SOS.dev. That funds provides small funds for OSS projects, but would like to prioritize the more critical ones. Now, splitting that up is probably a little weird because that's also now part of OpenSSF. So, yeah, but I think there's an organization that's kind of popping up here. Alpha Omega is an example of we're looking for the critical ones and to fund those. There are other organizations who do the same thing. And then there's small funds where they do fund a number of different things, but they, again, they're not going out and looking, but they'd like to prioritize when they get a request. Future MFA distributions. We can probably argue about the order here, but I think that's a nice list.
Yeah.
Of users and potential users. I mean, Alpha Omega certainly I know for sure uses it, is using it, the older version. The MFA one has already done so. All right, we actually have a couple tokens left, so it was a lot of work to get them out, so we haven't tried very hard, but all righty.
Awesome. And then so we talked about preparing it and publishing. I'm looking at that
Yeah, so David, you put that here. We have this process document. Is this up to date? Do you know, Amir, with what essentially what we're doing?
It's it could use updates.
Okay.
Consensus-based democracy.
This was, I think,
Yeah,
just taken from the
yeah,
notes. Yeah.
yeah, this is, I don't know what you call this. I mean, some of this is aspirational, and no, I need I don't need some ideas of what the plan is. Here is the list. Here's how it was made,
Yeah.
and I think you can take what's here, copy paste, and make something short.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd probably just need to collaborate on something. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, here's something that document was really future looking. We need to include, ready answer for how'd you make this list, and acknowledge, weaknesses in current set. I mean, it's
Okay.
all over, varying size. There's some where you can argue either way. Yeah, I mean,
So then I think if
so
I'm
I would
able
say,
to,
needs no work. Yeah, well, no, no comma, it needs work.
Yes. There's a comment. Yeah.
Yeah,
comment.
I would go further and just say we need a different doc. A different doc
Okay.
can pull from that, and I mean it could be just a paragraph,
Yeah. Should be a paragraph.
just a paragraph, or maybe two. Maybe like here's how we did, and acknowledged weaknesses because there's always weaknesses. But I mean, I think that's now publication. All right. We need it. Do we need something nice looking?
Yeah. So preparing set for publishing, I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe we're just cleaning up the spreadsheet. Are we copying it? Are we gonna delete the old tabs and say that any ideas here?
There are many ideas. The question is, what do you want? Um,
Should we make a PDF?
I mean, we can make a PDF. We can make we can make an HTML page. Um, Now, one thing that we could do is turn it into something that looks legit. Let me I don't think either of you have been involved in the fund on the publication of the best practices, folks. Have you?
No.
All righty. Okay, so let me share with you a link. All right, go click on that. Okay, what you will see is something that looks fairly decent. And this was generated through a process that I have now given it a name. It is called the SSP, uh, something simplest possible, SPP, simplest possible process. Literally, all I did is I enabled GitHub pages, and for each repo, I created a separate subdomain. So you'll notice that this is under best openssf.org because the best practices working group has a domain.
Hmm.
Okay. And creating subdomains is incredibly trivial. Used to be you didn't want to create a new domain for this stuff because the fundamental problem when you do that is now you got to manage the TLS certs. Thanks to Let's Encrypt, that is just not a concern. So, and so right now there's a separate TAC issue about whether or not, basically we were originally just pointing to the GitHub pages, It's
Mhm.
ugly as awful. It's ugly. It's awful. I mean, it looks like it looks terrible. Um, these look all right. Certainly, they look better than the old system, and we can muck with the CSS. And in fact, this uses a special font that the marketing folks would like to start using. So it's a Google font. I don't care. Pick
Marketing
a font.
folks
Tell me what it
like to
is, huh?
pick fonts.
Yeah, it's a sans serif font for the body text. I actually prefer serifs, but this is the most serify non-serif. This is the most serify sans serif font I've ever seen for body text, so we can live with it. I don't care about fonts nearly as much as readability. That's my concern. You know, there's people who are really excited about fonts that are cool looking as long as you don't need to read it. Boo hiss to that. So anyway, um, so this is not a statement that we have to do things this way. In fact, you know, that's something right now that's been raised to the attack is a hey, is this you know I think Brian Bellendorf in particular is I don't know if we want all those different domains. That's fine. If that's a problem, then let's do something else. But in fact, this is part of the problem. There's so many different ways to do publication workflows that we almost get um, we get paralyzed by choice. There are too many ways to do this, so we don't have to do it this way. But what I would like to see though is a simple link where you click on it and you see the document. I'm not excited about PDFs, but I guess there is the advantage of that they, uh, declare a sort of complete product.
Is this concise guide? Is that in its own repo? Or is that in the
It's in the best practices working groups repo.
Okay.
So if you go, yeah, give me, let's see here. Is there an obvious? Well, in fact, if you click on the improve this page at the bottom link, the bottom right hand link, it'll jump you immediately to an attempt to edit it. So let
Yeah.
me.
Unless you're not logged into GitHub, then it asks you to
Well,
log in.
yes, then that won't work. Yeah. So let's see here. Which one did I show you? That's the concise guide. Which guide did I show you?
Looks like docs. So you don't have to have. You can have a subdirectory be the web page.
The top one, right? Right.
Okay.
I actually think, I mean, different. You don't have to do it that way. That's a configuration setting. By the way, here is what it used to look like. This is the link we've been telling everybody to go to before.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem with this, of course, is that you have just endless number of stuff at the top. We have no control over how it looks. If you look at its properties, you will see that a lot of the properties are wrong. We can't set, for example, the author or the title or stuff like that.
Okay. So we've got Markdown published through GitHub Pages.
Is an option.
We've got
this is
just
something new
Google
that
Doc that's not
right.
editable. We've got PDF. Any other
That's
ideas?
Those all sound good, honestly. I believe it was mentioned that OpenSSF would do a blog post.
Yeah. Okay, process. All right, so let's go back to the process options. Okay, they include, generate a PDF. Okay, well, I guess link to Google Docs is the easiest possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Link to Google Docs. And if we generate a PDF, there's actually two options: generate straight from Google Doc, but that's kind of ugly. Doesn't have intro. And then there's the create a nicer doc. And you know what? That's almost its own thing. Generate street, and then they create a nicer doc. And then there's, and and at that point, it's the intro plus the list, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And then we intro plus list, and then there's endless ways to do that, which is PDF, HTML may be generated from Markdown per the I will have to get you a link to the TAC discussions on that, but that's a different discussion. Yeah, are there other options here?
Well, I mean, I think I think simplest process is its own bullet.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Basically like, website based on GitHub. uh,
Yeah, in fact, HTML, the challenges are there are many ways to do this.
One worry I have with the markdown is tables and markdown are like very hard to deal with. I mean, probably have to
Yeah.
just do it once, right? This isn't a living list. We're keeping it in spreadsheets, but
Yeah, I don't know that that's a big issue because we're not trying to hand edit it, I don't think. I think we're just taking the Google Doc and translating it.
is there,
I
yeah,
haven't
is there a
tried
good
it,
translator?
oh yes. I
There is,
mean,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I'll be honest, the first thing I'll do is grab for Pandoc, PANDOC. If you've not heard of Pandoc, please hear of Pandoc. Your life will be better. So, Pandoc is a program that handles many, many document formats and can translate many document formats to other document formats. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's an
And
awesome tool. It's depending on what you're doing. If you want to deal with tech, if you want to generate tech, then you also need to install a whole bunch of tech stuff. But in general, it can do cool things. And so while I haven't tried tables from Google Docs specifically with Pandoc, it would be unsurprising to me if that wasn't too bad. There's a couple other generators specifically from Google Docs to Markdown that I've used also for the for the course, because we actually originally wrote the course in Google Docs and then translated it to Markdown. And the Markdown is actually now the canonical version in that one. And yeah, translated tables and stuff like that. I don't know. I think this one's pretty simple, so I don't know that it's going to be a problem.
All right.
Yes,
I think there's some good.
if we create Markdown first, there are many ways to generate the Markdown. Yeah, but I think fundamentally, if this is going to be a formal release, it should look like it's an actual legitimate thing.
Yeah.
Now I have not looked. I mean, I was involved in the process. I actually haven't seen the final doc. Can you put? I know it's in
the spreadsheet.
Yep.
Yep. Should I put it up here by the
Yeah, you
EX?
may as well slip that in here, huh?
All right.
It's probably in the top, isn't it? Yeah,
It is, yeah. I just threw it in there though. And
Wait,
then
oh.
I'm right where your mouse is.
Something nicer looking. I don't see where you dropped it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Where should it go? Would you say?
Let's put it up here.
Okay, how about link to the existing Google Doc is the process option. There we go.
Nice.
And that, I mean, that is obviously from the point of view of simplicity, from our point of view, that is obviously the simplest possible solution, right? Now, that doesn't mean it's the right solution for our case, because I think, the arguments for removal and stuff like that. I'm thinking that
Get rid of it.
I don't know. We wrote down comments there. They're a little more informal. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing though, because clearly people will complain about things no matter what we do. In fact, if anything, you could probably argue that everything should have some comment, but that's a lot more additional work.
Mm.
All right, we got Angular and Ansible, C Python. We don't have a Linux distro in here, do we? That was one of
No.
I mean the largest things we've got is the Linux kernel, Rust, Kubernetes. Yeah, we've got several implementations of languages, but that's not. And I guess we've a weirdness. We've got the repo of now Electron. Should that still be in? Given Adam's disappearance, but I guess we can still make the cases widely used. I'm just looking through here for a quick sanity check. Tor itself is a whole distro. It's kind of focused though.
Okay.
I guess we could say that's really the specialty parts of it as opposed to just everything in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Ruby gems. All right. I mean, presumably that's the code to implement it, not every single gem. And
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so we've got some ideas for getting the set ready to go.
Yeah.
We need the intro, the process paragraph, something that looks nice.
Right.
Um,
Can we create a document and then kind of
Yeah.
noodle over it? Create a Google Doc with the content of the intro,
sure.
and then we can, I would just copy paste the existing one,
hmm
the old text, and then just kill it down to a short thing.
hmm So I was thinking about what we would do for an announcement plan. I think we want to have a blog, obviously, on OpenSSF. I don't know what else we should do. I just jotted some notes here right now for the points we want to make in the blog, kind of the stuff that we're going over right now, like what is it? How do we make it? Who's using it? So we just discussed that.
Right.
And then typically like a blog would be like, how should you use it? Or, how might this be useful to you? And then how can you get involved?
Right. And really also, there's always an audience question. I think you've got two different audiences here. One is just trying to the general, hey, if you're curious about open source and you're wondering if anybody cares about it, the answer is yes. And some people are working to identify a critical one, really important one, so that we can go do some funding of it. Frankly, there's another audience. It's way smaller. And that's the folks we just listed earlier. Folks
Sure.
like CISA who are saying, hey, I want to fund stuff. Now, I will say that a lot of those have very specific angles. Like a good part of CISA, they're actually interested in improving the security of open source software that's used by critical infrastructure. So they're thinking about dams, electrical power grids, that kind of stuff. And that is not necessarily this list. In fact, I think that there would be quite a different list. So, but for some, like the German government one, I'm sure that they would be very interested. And for them, I think the goal is just, hey, please look at our list. Now we can just tell our friends, hey, go look at our list. But if we do a blog post, then that gives them cover for looking at the list. So, oh, wow, look at that. They announced it and it's a big announcement. So we should look at that list. I suspect they would look at it anyway, but um, I think that would be helpful to them. At least I would hope so. And they can make their own decisions on what not, whether or not to do anything with it.
Any other thoughts on like how you might use it? Are you curious? Like, you want to get involved in open source?
Ooh,
You're a company and you want to know if your stuff that you use is critical. Like, I don't.
What
yeah.
about what about folks like the Google Summer of Code or like that, have these programs that help people with
Oh,
programs and
that's a great
hey,
idea. Yeah. Are you looking for an area where you might contribute? If you're looking to say review open source software and you want to, look up for, you know, do security reviews of the most critical ones, these would be good ones to look at. Not implying that you can't look at others, because that's ridiculous, but if you're looking to evaluate something. Now, I think we do have to be careful, not implying that these are the problem children. These are
Right.
critically disastrous, which is not what we're trying to say here.
yeah, like look for projects to contribute to.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, both contribute to in the sense of code. Well, actually, I don't know. Some of them may or may, most of them are open too, although, some of the smaller ones, um, especially the ones that think they're more or less feature complete, they're going to have a higher bar. But all of them would be very, very interested if you found a vulnerability and it was a real vulnerability. I would hope that every single one of these projects would say, "Oh yeah." All right.
They do something like that. Okay, get involved in the working group, suggest projects. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Do you want to try to create a Google Doc with this content or something?
For this blog.
Yeah, the blog
Yeah.
post.
So I'll do this.
I can create it if you want me to.
Okay, sure.
Let's see here. Now, to be honest, I should know. Let's see. If I was smart, I would go look for the drives for OpenSSF. Oh, my drive open. I should have a quick. I should have something that just quickly jumps to the OpenSSF drives. Shared drives. No. Oh, that's just sad. All right. OpenSSF has a drive. I'm having a little trouble. This is problem is between keyboard and chair here. All right, this is going to be a short doc anyway, that not lasting long, I suspect. So why don't we quickly draft up something and we will. Let's see here. So final. Let's see. What are we calling this? Critical
Set of
critical
critical.
OSS, critical open source software projects 2023.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. I am going to. All right. Let's switch and make this. Anybody in the link can comment. All right. That means that now I can put here. And now you can request. Let's see. I'm here. You are an editor. Jeff, I have an email for you. I don't know if it's the right email. I have a gmail.com account. Is that a good email for you? Would you prefer me
I'll
to use
use
a
this.
different one? Sorry?
I'll use that one.
Use that one. Okay. I will use that one. All right, so at least my theory is we write the text here. We might even just copy paste the portion, the pretty version of the table in here.
The
In
version,
fact, sorry.
the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because this is eventually going to be the blog post, right?
Yeah, the blog post can't contain the whole list.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. I guess I
No
wasn't
link.
writing the blog post. I was writing the actual introduction for the document.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we need two things. You're right. Okay. We need two things. So what I just did was create the actual yeah, intro to list.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what
And
the
now we need
markdown's going to be, or the
right
something.
or the something. Right. Okay. We could just create a Google Doc, but I don't think that we should because I think that that's a problem. All right. So let me create another. Now, again, my amazing superpowers. Blog post. Okay, let's see here. All right, blog post. Sorry about the mechanisms here, but I really want to make sure that we're not blocked by nonsense. Does here we're got editors. And here's the link for that. Now, if I'm really clever, all righty. I would suggest writing the report first.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're essentially, I'm saying we want to reuse the what is it, how is it made in the blog post. So that needs to be done first.
Right, and this is a report from the Open Source Security Foundation Critical Projects Working Group. Okay. And the intro to the list should be I will introduce you, by the way, to weird Davidisms. I put triple question marks everywhere, and then what I'm gonna say, and when I start breaking it down, then I start each of those subsections get triple marks, and when I run out of triple question marks, the document's done. You don't have to do it that way. Just if you interact with me a lot on my documents, you'll start to see that nonsense. I don't know if it works for anybody else, but it works for me. Because
As long as
otherwise,
you
I
got
never
a
know if I'm
system.
done. I'm sorry.
It says as long as you've got a system, sounds like a good one.
Well, it has the incredible advantage of it works in all kinds of formats and things. So, yes, the Securing Critical Projects Working Group. Okay. Yeah, so you already posted.
And then I wonder.
Yeah, in our little notes, it seems to me that we've already got some of that text, right?
We've got the what is the list, but we need to do the how did we make it.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, so let's start with that.
Yep.
The OpenSSF. I guess I should if it's since that's really the author thing, I probably should repeat that, right? Okay. The Open has been working to update its set of critical open source software projects. Is it a set or is it a list?
The set. It's not ordered.
AKA the set of critical projects. All right. Well, wait, that's just past tense. We need to explain what this is the document. Okay.
Yeah.
This document presents the um, from the, okay, what is this? This is what this is. Okay. The purpose, that's now kind of a circular definition.
Yeah, that's what I was a little worried about. Yeah, I thought it was a little. Oh boy.
These have been determined to be highly important. Whoop. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my access to Google Docs suddenly disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and now we're back. The risks of of this kind of okay. The okay, this set identifies open source software OSS projects that and you know what? Now we can introduce this. This set identifies that have been determined to be highly important. I mean, it's just important. I don't know, highly important by through the process described below. Right? And that means we're going to have to describe the process, weaknesses, caveats, any such set will have any set like this limitations. Something and so on. Now, don't we've got the doc. I would copy from that other doc the process we just used.
One?
I'm sorry.
Which doc? The markdown?
Well, we've got multiple markdowns here.
Oh.
Somebody copied in the actual list.
Yeah, I just gave it a little cleanup and posted it in.
Yeah,
But
you know
I can
what?
change it if
Actually,
needed.
yeah, you know what? Actually, I think the just having the selection reasoning / justification does help, especially presuming that we're going to explain what the heck those are a moment ago earlier. Okay. Yeah, so that this implies the process need to explain selection reasoning / justification.
And that is
Okay.
actually
Yeah,
captured
you know what? Actually,
somewhere.
I'm going to kill this list comment. I think that's actually pretty darn good when we only include. Well, okay, now GitHub, GitLab. Oh, I see. Or source repository. Yes. Oh, hey, shame on you. You should know better.
Oh,
In fact, isn't this really just source repository?
yeah, that's more concise.
Boom. In fact, I would argue that should be that way in the original.
Agreed.
Now that we're looking at with a clean eye, we're going, oh, wait.
Yeah, let's do it. Done.
Done. Okay. Yeah, but you know what? You know what's great about source repo? I've been telling several folks this. I understand the problem when you're talking about proprietary software, but when you're talking about for open source software, which X did you mean? I mean this repo.
Mhm.
Complete, with a URL completely eliminates the which one did you mean problem. Okay. All right. Now I think that we can slip in the text that we just talked about earlier today. Okay, I'm going to copy paste. We can clean this up, but
This is actually a pretty good paragraph from the GitHub. Let me see if it helps.
look at this. We didn't have a report, and one is popping up magically. And
Should
then we
we
can
put the users in the report?
the potential user. I think yes,
Or
because
should that just be in the blog or be in maybe like our README or something like that?
I mean that's a strategic question more than anything else.
I kind of feel like it should just be what it is, how we made it. Here's the list.
Okay, and then the blog we talk about who we expect
Who's using it, how we think you can use
Okay.
it, how you can get involved.
Okay, and that's a nice distinguisher. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna cut it from this one,
Put it in the other one.
and it turns out, and then suddenly,
This is where we put info on the selection criteria, which I think is going to be here. Oh, process. Okay. Might be too long, but
do we need to say set in the title?
I think so.
It makes it awful long. Why don't we just say critical open source software projects and then explain that this is a set in this document itself?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, okay. I'm waiting because if you disagree, that I mean, there's nothing evil wrong. It's just
Yeah, we've just gotten good within the work group to keep calling it a set now because to make that distinguish.
So many people are hung up on the order.
Yeah, exactly, and they still are calling it a list.
okay. This identifies a set of. Okay. So let's hit him between the eyes. If that's a key problem, please note that this is not a list. It is a set. There is no implied order in the list. Well,
Yeah.
actually, no, there is an order, right? It's alphabetic.
There is no uh,
Prioritized, I
It's-
guess.
yeah. The order is not
Do we
and
do
does
we
not
want
imply
it?
significance.
Right. Do we want to alphabetize this?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that would be one. That would be one obvious solution.
Yeah.
Can we alphabetize with a table within, or do I have to go back? Do we have to go back to? Amir, did you just copy paste it in, or did you do something special to this thing?
I did a little bit of smithing, and I think it was alphabetized until the very end. We added a couple.
Yeah, but now it's not
So I'll
alphabetized. So
read. Yeah,
if
yeah, I
if we
can
want
redo
to
it.
say it's alphabetized, let's see, tools,
All right,
extension.
should be done.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I
Oh,
was able to do it within the table, but it also factored in the header.
all right, we can move. We can move the header. You know, that is incredibly amusing. Would you mind moving the header?
Yeah, I got it.
All
And
right.
then
Okay. All
I'll
right.
re-alphabetize it.
Fabulous. All right. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So,
There you go.
all
Done.
right. This document presents the. Please note that this is not a list. Not a list. It is a set. There's the this set is listed in alphabetical order by project name.
Nice.
Okay. There is no implied ordering within the set.
I do need to run to another meeting in 1 minute.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All
That
right.
went by quick.
Well, I'll tell you what. We said we needed. We basically have agreed that we need to have something that looks good. I will say from here on, we can either generate Markdown and then generate HTML, or we can just turn this into a PDF. Either works. If you want to create a PDF, of course, that's super easy. And then, so so it sounds like the homework now, maybe we can post the Slack, is working on this report and the blog post.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we none of us get to us, then here's what I would propose. If we don't get to it between now and next meeting, the next meeting is we finish this off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
sounds great.
All right. So I think we're making progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot. Thanks so much.
All right. Oh,
Thanks,
my
David.
pleasure.
Thanks, Amir.
Yeah,
Take
of
care.
course. Take care, Jeff. Take care, David.
See you next
Bye.
time.